Assigned to the streets, only dealers we took was a plea. Model your money,
What's up YouTube? I hope you're all doing amazing, and in today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to create this infinite spinning gun zoom transition inside of Adobe After Effects. Before you get into the video, remember you can always show your support by visiting my store at dannyjames.co for preset packs and LUTs that you might find useful. Let's get on with it. I'll show you how to do this transition using these two clips on my comp, and what you just need your first clip to have a point where the Glock or the gun is directly facing the camera, like this one. This is a perfect shot. Just at the end of that clip, hit Ctrl D, right click, go to time and freeze that frame. I'll give it a different color, and then I'll also place this freeze frame on top. I will move it to my right hand side so that it appears right after that last frame. You can extend it for however long that you need. Since we will also be pre-comping these layers, this shouldn't be a factor. Now from here, I want us to have the first freeze frame untouched, and then we'll go about 5 to 7 frames. Hit Ctrl D, trim whatever comes before that, and I want us to draw a small mask around the Glock. So I will find my ellipse tool right under these masking tools, and then I will zoom in. You can hold shift so that you create a perfect circle. Come back to your selection tool and you can move these all together. I would encourage you to also mask the part of the gun which surrounds the nozzle, like this. And then I will go to the mask, put this on add, and now if I isolate this layer, you can see what we've masked, and you can actually move it however much you need to right now. Okay, now I want us to be able to scale this down, but if we scale it down as it is, it's following this anchor point. So the trick is to go to your layers tab on top, go to transform, and then center the anchor point in layer content. And now if we scale it down up to 80%, you can see it goes proportional how we want it. I will unisolate the layer so that you can see everything that's happening, and we are kind of creating this 3D tunnel. So I will start it at 77 first, and then once again do the same steps, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Hit Ctrl D, trim what comes before that, hit S, scale it down a little further, and then have 2 more of them, and I'm just keeping on scaling it down. I'll click elsewhere so that I can see the small tunnel that we're creating. And then I will do one last one, duplicate, trim, scale it down further along. Okay, so I think we have something sufficient. Now I'll just collapse these layers, and all the layers that have the freeze frames, hold shift and select on them, right click and then pre-comp. Let's call these freeze frames tunnel. Hit OK. Now we just need to create a negative mask that you can zoom through. So right on this pre-comp, I want us to find this ellipse tool. I want us to zoom in right at the last freeze frame of the tunnel, and then you can draw a negative mask right there. I'll go back to my selection settings and move it around. Let me first put the mask on none, and I think that's good. That's what we need. Now just put the mask on subtract, and if we put it on subtract, it means that you should be able to see the other video playing right beneath. So if I zoom out just a little bit, you should see the other video playing right beneath. Now since we have this pre-comp, we need to make it a 3D layer. Okay, and since it's a 3D layer, it means we'll also have to add a 3D camera so that you can zoom through that section. So just right click, add a new camera, use the default settings, go to the camera settings for transform, add a keyframe for all of them, and then we'll need to start these keyframes anywhere somewhere around here. So I'll drag them, but remember you can always adjust the timing of these afterwards. And now I want us to zoom through this camera using the camera controls. You can use C to switch between them. So I will zoom into this hole, switch between the three camera controls until I zoom through the space within that mask. So far this is what you have. Yeah, and you can also space these keyframes to affect the timing. Now one more thing, I want us to add a rotating effect, and the way to do that is by adjusting the value for Z rotation. So if we rotate this Z axis, this is how it will rotate. So I wouldn't recommend you to go up to 360 degrees or to make a complete rotation. I would suggest maybe taking it up to 270 degrees, and then once you've done that, squeeze that keyframe and make it be on the same timing as these other ones, and then put them on easy ease. So that it now rotates like this. Okay, you can change the speed graph settings if you want. I would encourage changing the speed graph for Z rotation and just make it a little bit faster towards the end and slower in the beginning. Doesn't make much of a difference, but it adds a level of detail into this. Okay, so once we are done doing this, I want us to pre-comp these two layers. So right click, pre-compose, name this main comp, and with this main comp you can add scaling keyframes if you need to get rid of these edges that appear at any point. So I'll just hit S, start it here at the point where I'll see the edges. That's when I would zoom into it just a little bit, and I think you can also zoom out once again. Easy is these scaling keyframes once again, and now we just need to spice these up. We can add an adjustment layer right at this moment of impact. Add a new adjustment layer, and then I will also trim it so that it doesn't stay for long. Right at the point of impact where the transition finishes, that's when I want the adjustment layer to start appearing, and then you can trim it. Now go to your effects and add a CC radial blur, put it on that adjustment layer, just set it to a fading zoom and just increase the amount, so it will be just an alternative way of adding some motion blur. You can manually adjust the adjustment layer however much you feel like. Let's see. The advantage of using the adjustment layer is that you can squeeze it or add more frames into it however much you feel like it. You can also add a sapphire shake if you want to do that, but I would also recommend adding it back in Premiere Pro since you can affect all the layers at once. One last thing, I would encourage you to try the glass breakage green screen clips. I'll just drop it right here, and then I will find the moment of impact, which is right here, and then I will place that moment right at the end of this transition right here. Go to your effects, add a key light to that, and then key out the green, and you should have something solid coming out. So this is our final result. Yeah, and yeah, that's the spinning gun zoom transition that I wanted to share with you guys on this tutorial. I hope you did enjoy it, and I hope you found it really useful and easy to follow along. This tutorial is also a sequel from my previous tutorial, which is the infinite gun zoom transition, and if you're interested to watch it, you can start watching it right after this video. See you guys on the next video. Peace.